And the law of legacy just says a leader's lasting value is measured by succession. Now that's a very law that's very close to me because I'm at my age doing everything I can to empower the John Maxwell enterprise to be very, very successful, way beyond my lifespan. I can still remember interviewing my mentor, John Wooden, when he was 94. We were at a conference together. And I asked Coach Wooden, the greatest basketball coach in the history of college basketball, 10 national championships that he won. And I looked at Coach Wooden and I said, Coach, I said, what do you want to be remembered for? And I'll never forget his answer. There were probably a couple thousand people in this room. And when I asked Coach what he wanted to be remembered for, everybody began thinking about what a great coach he's been and his national championships and everything. And his first words, I mean, no hesitation, Coach, what do you want to be remembered for? And he looked at me and said, well, for sure, I don't want to be remembered for national championships. And the whole room just audibly went, ah. And then he said, I want to be remembered as a person that added value to every player that played for me. That prepared them for life, that gave them life lessons. And he went on about how he wanted to be remembered. And I can still remember how I, with the other people in that audience, we were so impacted by this man who won so many national championships, but his legacy, he wanted to be more than a trophy. He wanted to be something that he had planted inside of his players. This is huge. I want to give you a legacy perspective. And I want to talk to you about a clock for a moment. And I want to talk to you about a compass. When you think of your legacy, think of a clock. This is about now. This is about time. The clock basically asks you and me, what are you doing now? You look at that hour and are you making this hour count? Are you making this day count? The clock basically asks me and asks you, what are you doing now? When you look at the compass asks us a question, where are we going? Isn't it interesting? The clock asks me what I'm doing today, and it's wanting me to make sure that what I'm doing today fits the compass where I'm going tomorrow. Go to the clock with me for a moment, because you see, people will describe your life in one sentence. So pick it now. You don't have to wait until you die to figure this out. In fact, is there anything worse than not having picked it out and you died and everybody's at your funeral guessing? You don't want them to be guessing. You want them to come to that funeral knowing what your life stood for. I want the people that know me to realize that I want to add value to leaders who multiply value to others. That's who I am. That's what I do. That's why I get up in the morning. I want them to know that I valued sowing more than I did reaping. I want them to know that I kept success and failure together. I never separated it. And I want them to know that I lived a life of abundance. I wanted them to realize, here's what I want you to know. As we come into this life, every one of us, when we come through life, we leave something and we take something. All of us do. We leave something and we take something. And what I want you to do today is I want you to determine in your heart that you're going to leave more than you take. That you're going to give more than you received. That you're going to sow more than you reaped. That's absolutely huge. But as I think of legacy, I think of the clock that asks me, John, what are you doing now? I think of the compass that says, John, where are you going? But there's a third element. The third element is companions. I not only have a clock to consider in my legacy and a compass, but companions. You see, when I think of companions, I have to ask the question, who's going with me? What am I doing now? Where am I going? And who's going with me? What's interesting has been that the clock and the compass, I think I've done a pretty good job with that. But the companion is who's going with me. In the last 10 years, that's been my most important question. One of the joys of my life, and I have a lot of joys today, and I'm extremely blessed. There are not very many people at 74 can look at what they've done and invested in and realize that the best days are still ahead. That I'm still going up and I'm still climbing. But I'm climbing with companions